Hi, this is Melissa. I hope you all are doing okay, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. It is an honor, a privilege, and a blessing to be able to share God's Word with you. Thank you for listening. As you know, we are living in turbulent times. The price of everything seems to be getting higher and higher. There are people who call themselves preppers because they prepare for the unknown. They do this in various ways, such as, in some cases, storing up to a year's supply of food, growing some of their own food, securing their own water supply, purchasing water purification systems, and buying supplies such as cooking burners that can run without electricity, etc. Some believe that doing all of that is a waste of time and money. But is it? Some ask when they should start prepping. How about now? But before we talk about prepping now, let's talk about why prepping might be something you should consider doing. First things first, being prepared is actually a biblical principle. We see it in the story of Joseph. He was sitting in jail for a crime he did not commit when the Pharaoh had a dream that he did not understand. A former inmate remembered that Joseph had correctly interpreted a dream for him, so he told Pharaoh. Pharaoh demanded that his magicians interpret the dream without being told what the dream was. They said it was impossible to do that, but Joseph did. Joseph interpreted the dream to mean that a famine was coming and that food needed to be stored during the time of plenty to prepare for it. So, in addition to the Egyptians having food instead of starving, Joseph's own family ended up in Egypt to purchase food. Speaking of dreams, I had a dream months ago that there were empty grocery store shelves. I immediately began telling those close to me about it because while not all of my dreams come to pass, I knew that a dream about empty grocery store shelves had to come as a warning from God, a warning to prepare. Being prepared is simply practical. Back in 2013, Atlanta had a big snow. Well, I call it a big snow because I spent most of my life on the South Carolina and Georgia coast, so snow is really rare. But that year, Atlanta's snow made roads impossible and impassable. People got stranded in their cars and even students on school buses. Fortunately, many were able to walk to nearby restaurants like Waffle Houses where they could eat and stay warm for the days that the roads were impassable. My family was okay though. I had gone to the grocery store a couple days before, so we had food in the house. Now I ask myself, what if everyone was stuck at home for more than 3 days? For the past few months, my family and I have been buying a little extra here and there. We're trying to have at least 6 months worth of food and water in the house. Some people even have up to a year's supply of food in their homes. About 4 years ago, Savannah, Georgia received some damage from a hurricane. My mom stayed with us. When she returned home, grocery stores were closed. But she did not feel the impact of that because she had food in her house. Her electricity had gone out, so food in her fridge had spoiled. That problem leads me to ways to prepare. We should certainly stock up on canned goods and food that we can store in our pantries. It's also good to freeze what you can. But in addition to the power going out, other mishaps can occur with freezers. For instance, Grandma Kama on YouTube posted a video of how she had to throw away easily more than $1,000 worth of food because something fell behind her freezer, knocking the plug out of the outlet. So, what's a solution? Canning is one of them. She was so upset over the loss of food, and she said that if she had canned that food, that problem would not have occurred. Well, I recently learned how to can simply by watching YouTube videos, reading canning instructions and guidebooks, and reading the instructions that came with my canners. Many people are afraid to pressure can. But I'm so glad I learned how to because it opens up a whole new way for me to preserve food and help my family be prepared. I had never seen anyone in my family can, so I thought I was going to be a pioneer. Far from it. My mom told me that both of my grandmothers canned foods, such as figs, peaches, pears, etc. They canned what they grew. Speaking of growing food, a part of being prepared can include growing some of your favorite foods. And you don't need a large amount of land to do it. There are YouTube channels where people who live in subdivisions show what they grow. A couple of years ago, my family successfully grew kale, basil, zucchini, squash, strawberries, lettuces, and tomatoes. Makes me think of Shirley Caesar singing, I got greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, you name it. They all grew in planters on my deck, porch, and a few raised beds we built. The tiny three-sprig rosemary plant is now a beast of a bush, and the smell and taste of fresh rosemary is amazing. 2 years later, I can still walk out of my front door to clip a few sprigs. In fact, I just did that this morning. The kale and strawberries are still producing. Let me tell you, there's nothing like walking a few feet outside your house and come back in with the food you grew. Plus, it doesn't get any fresher. Of course, there are other ways to be prepared. I will share more about this very important topic if I feel led to do so. Together, we can be prepared. I'm sorry. I couldn't avoid doing that from The Lion King. All right, go on, feel good, and be blessed. Bye.